Hello. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning. So I will just request all of you to switch on your cameras also, please. I hope you're able to see me. So I will request everybody to switch on your cameras. Good morning. Yeah, good morning, Hari Lakshmi ma'am. So I will take maybe a couple of minutes and then we'll start. So meantime, I will just request whoever has joined, if you can just switch on your camera and just give a brief intro about yourself, your name, and basically what is your ambition that you're looking at, and what is the subject you're pursuing. So I will just request everybody to switch on your camera. Please introduce yourself and then we proceed on. So good morning, everybody. So I need some of you to come on screen and introduce yourself, please. Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Students, please switch on your camera and introduce yourself. Hello.
Okay, to start with, myself, I've got 25 years of experience and I have worked in multiple multinational companies. And I'm going to basically take you the session about the trends and mega trades that is happening around the world to give you basically knowledge that basically will help you in your future endeavors. I know some of you will be a budding entrepreneurs also. And with these new ideas, maybe you can start a new venture as a startup, or you can join your own business, or those who are looking into basically into corporates, you want to know what are the trends and mega trends happening and which will help you to get into your passion, right? So now I will request you to basically introduce yourself, switch on your camera. I want this to be a more interactive session. So students, if you can just switch on your camera and introduce yourself, and then we will start with our session. So who want to volunteer first? Hello, students. Okay, I think all of you are quite shy, so no problem. So let me share my screen. Please let me know once you're able to see my screen. Hello, student, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so my name is Sabyasachi Banerjee, right? So I'm going to basically discuss with you. So I just wanted to understand your basically passion about yourself. So still, if anybody wants to, before we start the session, talk about yourself, it will help me to basically guide you and also support you in your future endeavors. So that is why I'm requesting you, if you can just come on the cameras and introduce yourself and what is your passion, what you're looking at. And from where, if you're from Karnataka or from outside, or a little about yourself, a brief intro about yourself. So anybody volunteers out there? So any volunteers who want to volunteer and talk about himself or herself? Okay, so
Yes, sir. I'll do it.
yeah, please go ahead.
Am I visible, sir?
I'm not able to see you, but I can hear you. So if you can switch in your camera, that will be great.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, corporate world, what we look at is basically the communication, right? But one of the most important thing is the communication, because as you know, we are all working into COVID times, from COVID times at real time. So your customers and your colleagues will be around the world. So if you are not hesitant to communicate, right, it will really not help you. So one of the things that we are going to do is that have proper communications. That's why you have to basically come out from your and come out and speak, and we want you to basically have a proper communication, right? So please go ahead. Thank you for, yeah, please go ahead. Hello. Hello. Yeah, so I heard somebody want to talk about himself or herself. Give an intro, please. Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead. Or still you're feeling shy? Okay. So let me start then. And when you're feeling to talk or want to share your screen or want to share your camera, please let me know or raise your hand. Then you can basically give a brief intro about yourself. Okay. So today what we're going to talk about is basically, as you know, there are around the world a lot of trends and mega trends happening, right? You have seen basically in your childhood days, maybe you have to buy a film from the shop, Kodak or Fuji. But nowadays, nobody buys that, right? You have got basically the digital camera came. After digital camera, you have got your mobile, where you have got the convergence of technologies. Maybe you are using a mobile to click a photo and share it with your friends, right? So the technology is getting advanced day by day. Of course, those who are really photographers, they buy for costly digital cameras or cameras, but otherwise generally public do not buy cameras. They use the mobile phone as a camera to click a photo. Isn't it, student? Yes or no? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So what you're saying is that if you cannot adopt yourself with the technological advancement, right, you will be left behind. So you need to basically move along with the technology, that is the changes that is happening around the world, right? Now, the first topic, what we are going to talk about is Industry 4.0. So I just wanted to know from all of you what you understand by Industry 4.0. Any volunteer? So what do you understand by Industry 4.0? Yes, students. In fact, I want more of an interaction with all of you. So if you have any information, it may be correct, it can be wrong, but this is the chance you are getting to update yourself. So there is nothing to feel shy, right? You have come into this class to learn only. So I will just request, if you want to say your knowledge, what you know about Industry 4.0, that will really help me. Then I can proceed and explain to you. So anybody want to volunteer and tell me what is Industry 4.0?
So, good morning. Industry 4.0 tell about the new industrial revolution that will happen, like the humans interaction with the robots and the new analytic methods and the new method of improvement in analytics, AI, chatbot, etc.
Yeah, good. Thank you. What is your name? Good that you basically, pardon?
Amit.
Amit. Very good, Amit. At least I'm very, very happy that at least you came and talk about Industry 4.0. Okay. Now let's go back to the history. What is Industry 4.0 and how it has come? Because this is very, very important to you since we are living in the era of Industry 4.0, right? In 1970, in 1770, in fact, the first industry one industry that is started, 1.0, what we say. Basically, it is started with the steam power that is mechanized and the water power. And with that invention, basically, people used to work in hand and they started moving into the machine, which was run by steam engine, right? So with the invent of the steam engine and the steam from the farm to factories, they move, and that is where the industry 1.0, what we call about, which was powered by this steam power, right? So this is how the industry 1.0, what we say, started. Then almost after hundreds of years, what happened? The industry 2.0 started with the arrival of the electricity. So with that, what happens is that there was a mass production, assembly lines were formed, automation, and the start of factories started. So as you can see, there is a paradigm shift that was happened. Basically, that is around 1870, almost after 100 years, where you have the assembly lines, right? And you started basically more of automation. Those things started in after 100 years from the first industrial revolution. Next, basically almost again 100 years, right? What happens when the computer arrived? You have the industry 3.0. That is around 1970. So the computer and automation, what it helped the computer to automate the work, and the electronics chips in that really helped in automating the work that was happening. So it was around 1970, the industry 3.0 came, right? Now, tell me, what is about industry 4.0? That is basically we are working on, right? So industry 4.0 is the buzzword that is running around us, isn't it? It is basically refers to the fourth industrial revolution, where we have seen the knowledge, transforming the knowledge that has changed the industry, right? So industry 4.0, as one Amit has rightly said, it sees the smart factories, connected machines, and intelligent robots. Now, as you can see, with this change and the mega trends, right? I hope all of you are basically from the computer science background. Yes, student. Is anybody from different background? Hello, students. Hello, students. Anybody from any other background you're studying, or all of you are from the computer science background?
Sir.
All are from CS, sir.
Excellent. Now, you can see with this industry 4.0, the sky is not even the limit for you, because with this huge opportunities that are coming to your way, right? So what you can see in the fourth industry revolution is the smart interconnected robots, not looking at individual computerized machine, but the whole network of them. They are talking to each other, intelligent factories. So the factories are also talking to each other, and some of the underlying technology give us the industry 4.0. That is Internet of Things, that is IoT, smart machines. They're connected to the networks and talk to each other so that they can diagnose and basically talk to each other, talk to their own problems, alert them, and sometimes if it is anything going wrong in the other machine, help each other to get it sorted out using the AI, right? So as you can see, there are basically the way the things are getting changed. Next, what we are having is that we are having basically, we have big data, so that the machines that generate enormous amount of data, we can analyze and provide predictive maintenance, right? Before, it was a big problem that we do not know when the machine will break down, or the machine, if they broke down, as you know, it takes a lot of time again to reset it and start it. Now, with this enormous amount of data that is getting generated from the machines, we can use it and analyze it. And using AI, I think most of you are with basically having the knowledge of AI, that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, cognitive learning, right? To make sense of this data, and using that, we can do predictive analysis, where the machine or assembly line will tell us whether there will be a breakdown or in the coming days or so on. Now think of basically a case where you have seen NTPC. I hope all of you heard of NTPC, right? They have got transformers or transition machines, right? Where they basically the grid through which they generate powers and supply the powers. And those basically transformers may be at different remote places. Or take up the windmills, right? Now in the windmills, those are located basically in remote places. Now in day-to-day, you cannot go and check it. But using basically the predictive analysis, right? You can predict if this basically parts will get basically need to be changed, or based on that, what you can do is that you can ask the nearby maintenance department to go and rectify it, so that there is no breakdown or stoppage of electricity, or there is no stoppage of basically the breakdown of that windmill, or basically the NTPC, for example, the transformers which are in the remote places. You are basically not going to have a major crisis, right? Now, what happens? This really helps you to have better management, cost effectiveness, and running of your machines for a longer time period, isn't it, student? Yes, student. So using the AI or machine learning, what happens? You basically helps this data to do predictive analysis, and where the machine or assembly line will tell us whether there will be a breakdown in the coming days, right? And this gives opportunity to fix the things before actually it happens. We are now interconnected supply chain, where this, for example, how many of you are near the basically port areas, or you have visited any port? Can you please raise your hand and let me know? Have you visited any port any time before? Pardon? Hello, can you please tell your name? Yes, tell me. Hello, student. Have you anybody of you visited any port like Visakhapatnam port, Cochin port, Marmugao port, Mumbai port, Goa port? Any of the ports you have visited? Okay. Now, if you
Yes,
know,
sir, I have visited.
which port you have visited? Hello, student. Yeah, tell me your name and which port you have visited.
Hello, sir. Your voice is breaking, sir.
Okay, I'm saying, okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, so tell me your name. Which port you have visited? Yes, Saurabh.
You sir, forts, you say now?
Port. That is seaport, where the ships comes, right? Have you anybody visited any ports?
Sir, I have visited, but I don't remember the name because I was so small that time.
Oh, no problem, no problem. At least you visited, right? So what happens when the
Yeah.
ships are coming, right? Now, if you go and see in those ports, they will carry containers or they will carry goods, because our import and export mostly happen through ports, right? Through ships, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So what happens if for example, a container ship, right? When it is arriving, right? Now the containers, as you know, a ship carries large number of containers, right? Now, for that, it has to also interact with the warehouses, whether it has got the capacity. Next is that those containers need to be shifted to either by truck or by train, isn't it? To the places where the people or the companies asked and bought those goods which have been supplied by container. And if you know, if the ship stays in the port for a long time, for each day or each hour, they have to pay fees. It will be huge amount of fees. And again, if the port do not allow the ship to come within a particular day, right? What will happen if it stays on the seas? the cost of running the ship is also very, very high, isn't it, student? Isn't it? So
Yes,
there
sir.
has to be proper synchronized when the ship is arriving. Like if you see the flight, now the flight is arriving, you know which flight is arriving at what time. Similarly, when the ship is arriving also, one need to know which ship is arriving and how many containers it has. Now, based on that, it also need to be the cranes also need to be there so that it can unload those containers from the ship. And after the unloading of the container has happened, again, it can load the containers which is waiting into the port, which need to be shipped out or it need to be exported, isn't it? Now, the whole synchronization or the machine talking to each other, if it happens, then what happens is that from the ship, they know that this is basically where I can go. These are the cranes are available. I can download. This is the warehouse that is available to be, those containers can be kept. Now the trucks or the trains, this is basically for now one container or 10 containers shipped to Bangalore, 10 to Mysore, maybe 15 to Chennai. For example, it has come to Vizag and 10 to maybe some other places, maybe to Calcutta. Now, based on this, there will be a coding also into those containers. So one can also track sitting in a remote place, where is my container and how this basically is moving around. Now, whole thing, if you can think, basically the machine talking to each other and basically automatically this is processed, right? It will really help. So when the ship comes, the cranes are ready. So cranes download it, move into the warehouse, and from warehouse, it is basically at the shortest time, move to the trucks, where the trucks are waiting, and then it moved to the particular places who has purchased this container. So at a minimum time, he can basically, the organization can get those containers. Now think of if it is a perishable items. Now, if it is too much of time is the weightage period, the whole item will go for waste, right? They cannot use it because it is already perished. So whole thing now need to be monitored in a proper way. So what happens? So that when the ship is arriving, what happens? The containers can be tracked, warehouse can be ready, and even there is a delay, that can be also notified, right? So that and proper action can be taken, and what is the next warehouse available, they can put those goods. So we can have the ships automatically delivered by robots and programmed by AI/ML. You have seen the driverless cars also, like Tesla. So how many of you heard of Tesla or taken a ride in Tesla? Anybody have taken a ride on Tesla? Yes, students. So yeah, I've taken a ride in Tesla when I was in Paris. So it is basically really a good experience. You don't have a driver, and from one place to another place, you can basically move basically with a program, and using the AI, the car moves on its own, isn't it? So that is the phenomenal advantages what we are seeing in the current world. So Industry 4.0 is an intelligent, connected robots and smart machines. It means we need to really think about our business. Otherwise, what will happen? If we do not think to take our business from the third industrial revolution to the new world of the fourth generation industrial revolution, we need, otherwise the industry will simply perish. Now think of basically how you have seen the Amazon, right? So how many of you are ordering your items from Amazon? If you can raise your hands, or Flipkart,
Me, sir.
isn't it? So you are seeing how they work. Their work is basically, once you get the order, they basically check whether it is available in the warehouse. If it is not available in the warehouse, they will ask the manufacturer or the supplier to provide it, and then it will be shipped. So you can also track when your basically articles you have purchased, right? At what date or what time it is coming to your doorstep, isn't it? So
Yes,
what
sir.
has happened? So with this, you have seen those businesses. So there is absolutely a new trend that has come, right? You don't have to go to the malls nowadays. From your home, you can just order, you can check it, and if you do not like it also, you can return it, isn't it? And they will come collect to your doorsteps, collect it and take it back, and you don't have to pay anything. So this is a basically new experience you are getting. Now think of if you go to Tanish, right? Maybe the ladies here, you don't have to go to the Tanish showroom also. Using AI, you can basically check from the site itself whether your earrings or your basically bangles, how it in your hand or in a ear, how it look like, and based on that, you can take a decision. So you can see there is now a new way or a new experience you're getting in the new generation or currently you are getting. Yes, student, you can try and download Tanish basically app and you can check it yourself how the experience you are getting. So anybody has tried Tanish app? Hello students, anybody of you have tried this?
No, sir.
So maybe you can try, right? You can see the different experience. You don't have to go to a Tanish shop. Then what happens? For this, the fourth industrial revolution, we need to develop our skills. So what and how we are going to work into this trend and mega trend that is happening. And for this, you are basically learning, basically, you're all computer science students. So as you can understand, you've got enormous scope or you have opportunities in front of you. And we need to work with the intelligent robots and which will bring a paradigm shift to the way we are thinking and the way we are working, isn't it? Are you all ready to adapt to this new trends and changes? Yes, students.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So what you can see, for example, right? Last year when I went to basically Los Angeles or California, I think most of you see the Hollywood movies. In fact, the Hollywood movies are made from there only. So I went to Universal Studio. It is absolutely a different experience, right? Because the way they animate those things. So if you go and drive through that park, right? They are actually, for example, make as if you're part of that whole thing. Now, that experience, this is all happening using basically the AI and basically kind of experience that you're getting, right? With the AR and VR that is coming to you on your way. So you have seen there is a paradigm shift that you've seen on the games also. You have seen that how the gaming world is getting changed, right? Some of you may have played Pokemon, right? You used to go and basically collect those animals around you, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right? So maybe some of you know that the gaming world has changed. Now they have got like huge money or sponsorship that is available around the world. Right? Now with the 5G that is coming to India, a lot of maybe Indian who wanted to pursue the career in gaming, maybe earn a lot of money. Basically in Korea, there are basically professional gamers who work around the world. Of course, their gaming competition is like huge amount of money is sponsored. And if you see the amount of money or the sponsorship that are coming into this, you will be amazed, right? So the paradigm shift that is happening. Before we used to see Olympics or World Cup, and we used to think those are the ways people can go to the gaming or into the games. But now with the invent of basically the animation and the gaming that is coming up, like FIFA, I think most of the boys, you have played FIFA or those basically, right? Number of games that are coming up that you have played, right? So As you can see, their competition, you can invite your friend also in that competition, and you can have your own, you can form a team also, and you can play on those, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right? So the way has changed, right? Now, what is happening? Now, those business who are not able to adapt to these changes and not able to move into 4.0, they will be left behind. So industry 4.0, they have to be basically work on smart, efficient, and technologically advanced tools, methods, and basically softwares programmed by students like you, right? So otherwise, what will happen? Those industries or those products who are not able to change or adapt will become obsolete and will be left behind or will perish. Isn't it, student?
Yes.
So what we understand, the industry 4.0, it is has got what are the things? Autonomous systems, where programs, machinery, and robots which act autonomously and talk to each other and interconnected. Next is cloud computing. Use remote servers to store and manage and process data for faster processes. Additive manufacturing, digital 3D designs that are built in layers by depositing material. You have seen in somewhere in India, I was reading that in a few days they were able to construct a whole house using the 3D printing technology. Then you have got augmented reality, right? Then you have got virtual reality. You have got big data, which can determine further actions and improve the processes. You have got the most important thing who want to pursue the career in cybersecurity, right? So where you can not only save your company from the cyber attacks, there are products that need to be properly tested, right? And the systems need to be properly tested so that there is no cyber attack to the products also. We will go through those also, what kind of opportunities that you get into the cybersecurity. Then, of course, Internet of Things, right? So, as you know, it is increasing day by day, right? So, whatever you heard the word smart, like smartphone, smart TVs, smart cameras, smart fan, smart tube lights, right? Or smart home, smart cities, everywhere you have got basically the chips, or it is basically the IoT which helps them run. And then last but not the least is big data analytics, which have got huge volume of data, and it can be structured data or it can be unstructured data. So big data analytics leads to the intelligent business moves, more efficient operations, higher profits, and increased customer satisfaction. It can be used to predict future events, foresee risk, reduce dependence, and future events. Based on the data derived from the past events and offer a continuous improvement rather than periodic improvements on systems and processes, isn't it? And provide constant feedback. So what happens? It helps you to identify new markets, expand into niche markets, tap into new customer bases, foster customer intimacy, and improve profit margin by reducing the waste and increasing productivity. So we will go one by one. Of course, we will go to the AI, but as you can see, this whole thing, why I was talking about big data, because this is another area where you can think, if your passion is there, you can work on that, and there's an enormous scope, right? So Industry 4.0, to summarize, it will prioritize the long-term business goals over the low risk, short-term return and success into today's, helping you in the smart manufacturing environment. Isn't it? Hello, students. Any questions?
No, sir.
Good. Let me share my screen again. But I want to be more of you to be interactive. You need to come to camera and let me know your thought process. Isn't it? Now,
Sure, sir.
so we have learned about Industry 4.0. I hope you're able to see my screen, isn't it? Now, Industry 4.0 has got a lot of subcomponents. Now, one of the most thing is AI, isn't it? So what do you understand by artificial intelligence? Okay, no problem. Let me take you to a video of Industry 4.0. By that time, you can think what is.
What is Industry 4.0 and what does it mean for you? Technology is driving change across all areas of society. Not only do we increasingly use it and even rely on it in our personal lives, we also find our workplaces digitally evolving with more and more processes now being undertaken using technology. This change is known as the Fourth Industrial Revolution or Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 will see many tasks that were once performed by us now being automated.
So what you understand is that whatever we were doing, right, it is getting automated, isn't it? And to do those automation, you need to write softwares, you need to program it, you need to test it, you need to check whether there is security lapses are there or not. So cyber security comes. The machine need to talk to each other, right? So you need to have an IoT. So as you can see, each of you have got a lot of opportunities, and whatever your passion is, that you can work on that, isn't it, students?
With the
Yes, sir.
collection and analysis of real-time data, artificial intelligence, and the ability for all components of a production line to talk to each other, production can be really efficient and personalized according to customer needs. But what does this mean for us? With increased automation, our time will be freed up for concentrating on more complex tasks. We will need a workforce who are capable of building, programming, and developing these technologies.
So, student, you are into the right track, isn't it? Because to enable them to work, to develop this, to test this, to make them work, we require young, energetic people like you. And as you can see, you are in the right track. Only you need to basically have your passion, what you are looking at. And based on that, sky is also will not be the limit for you.
But also making sure we are applying them to our lives in an ethical way. There are core skills that we can offer that technology cannot replace. The human touch is going to be incredibly important, ensuring effective communication, problem solving, and supporting change management in this digital environment. There will also be a greater need for joint working across disciplines, creating new innovations. The future job market will be looking for graduates with an open mind to explore the unknown future possibilities. We will all need to develop our skills in order to embrace, adapt to this ever-changing environment. What will you?
Right, students. Any questions? Hello, students, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so now what do you understand by Industry 4.0? Now, please volunteer. Please come on the camera and please volunteer. What do you understand by Industry 4.0?
It became automated. It can perform task itself.
Good. So you got interconnected machineries. Yeah, interconnected machineries, smart machineries, isn't it?
Yes, machine can talk with each other to solve any type of problems or questions.
Excellent. Very good.
Industry 4.0 making digital environment like currently we are seeing a digital payment everywhere from Sabjiwala to malls everywhere.
Very good. Now, Any other want to volunteer? Any other feedback? Okay, now we are going to move to the artificial intelligence. Now, I want some of you to volunteer and tell me what you understand by artificial intelligence also, before I share my screen. So what you understand by AI? I hope you're learning AI, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me. So what you understand by AI? So what is AI?
So AM is artificial intelligence. Its main goal is to replicate human intelligence
Good.
by
Mimic
machines.
mimic the human intelligence. Okay, good. Tell me. So machine learning is a technique to achieve what?
It's a technique used to mimic the human intelligence.
Good. And provides the capability to learn the machine and experience
It is able to perform
throughout.
work without making any kind of mistakes like humans.
Good. So let us learn and go to my slides. And of course, I want to be more interactive, right?
Sure.
Now, let me make it full screen. So we have seen the industry 4.0. Now we go to the introduction of AI. So the artificial intelligence was founded as an academic discipline in 1956. So you can see it was, the concept was how many years old? Yes, student. It's quite old, isn't it? So the term AI was first coined in 1956 by Professor John McCarthy at a conference in Dartmouth, UK. Artificial intelligence research has tried and discarded many different approaches since its founding, including simulating the brain, modeling the human problem, solving the formal logic, large database of knowledge, and intimating animal behavior. In fact, they went to the animal behavior also. I visited basically University of Paderborn, which has got the world's largest computer lab, where you can see basically some supercomputers also there. So where basically I had basically some of the robots, whatever the activities I was doing, it was mimicking my activities also, right? If maybe in next classes, I will try to show the picture of those robots also with me. So you can understand that is how initially they started, just trying to mimic the humans, animals, and what they're trying to do. And with those advancement of the technology, advancement of the knowledge and innovations, now what you see AI is of today, right? So the traditional goals of AI research include reasoning, right? We've learned of that this is the most important thing, that is reasoning, knowledge representation, planning, learning, natural language processing, perceptions, and ability to move and manipulate objects. Isn't it? Now, you have seen basically how the Tesla car works, right? There is a driver, there is no driver. Depending upon the speed of the other vehicle, depending upon basically what kind of object is around it, depending upon the GPS map or Google map or the map that is inserted in, it takes you from one place to another place. In fact, when the last time the Olympics happened in Tokyo, in Japan, in fact, they used basically the athletes came from the airport or from the railway station. They basically got them into the driverless cars. And they were all basically programmed this to bring the athletics to the basically where they used to stay from the airports, right? So without using any drivers. Now, if you see, in fact, Uber is purchasing huge number of driverless cars, and slowly you will find, not started in India because there's still some legal regulations need to be passed, but around the world there are basically places where they have got driverless cars or taxis. Okay. Any question before I move on to the next slide? So AI is the science of getting machines to mimic the behavior of humans. Machine learning is the subset of AI, right? That focuses on getting the machines to make decisions by feeding them data. So that is basically how AI and ML is related. Next definition of AI is artificial intelligence. Is an intelligence demonstrated by machines. AI research has been defined as a field of study of intelligent agents, which refers to any systems that perceives its environment and takes actions that maximizes its chance of achieving its goals, right? The term artificial intelligence had previously been used to describe machines that mimic and display human cognitive skills and associated with human minds, such as learning and problem solving. So how many of you have basically seen that like HDFC Bank, any basically services, you have got chatbots, right? Basically 24/7, they're able to help you the questions you're asking. Of course, the programmed questions and answers that is there, which is not there, then they will basically pass on to you to the agent who will be able to answer to you. So have you experienced those? Have you tried those? Yes, students.
sir.
Isn't it? Now,
Yes, sir.
you have got those chatbots, right, which basically whatever the based on the questions they're getting, the feedback it is getting, and using the AI, basically they're able to answer to you, right? So you don't require basically a person sitting for you to answer those. So basically some of the work of the humans is taken away by this chatbots, isn't it? Now, when you work in the corporate also, you will find the tickets, now, which are basically recurring tickets that are happening, or basically where what we call is a no human touch. Now, in the corporates, those are the things the application management is used. We call the shift left of tickets from basically L4 to L3, L3 to L2, L2 to L1, like that, where basically some of using automation, robotics, right? Those tickets can be resolved automatically without the human touch. So as you can see, what is the changing environment that is happening, right, around the world? You have seen that because of the Russia-Ukraine war, right, already the prices of fuel has gone up around the world. Of course, India is buying at the cheap rate from Russia, so we are not having that pinch of the crude oil price rises, but the food prices has gone up around the world because Russia and Ukraine used to supply more than 30% of the wheat and like sunflower and other items. You have seen what is happening around the USA. One after another bank is falling, right? So many banks are being bankrupt. So there is a major financial crisis that is happening. Now, among the G5 countries, already Germany is supposed to be going under the recession. UK in the verge of recession. USA is also facing huge problem. The prices is going up. You have seen what is happening in France, right? There's a huge riot that is happening because the prices is rising. Now, all those things, what you can see is that are going to increase day by day. Now, we are basically trying to basically how we can help to reduce the cost, how we can basically benefit it to generate more jobs. Those are the things what we need to look into, and where you can see an enormous scope, because more of those cost cutting that is happening there will also come to you, to India, where they can offshore their work, but at a minimum cost. Now, if you have to do at a minimum cost, that means you need to basically automate their processes, right? You have to basically help them to reduce their cost. You have to basically create no human touch operations. You have to improve the processes, right? All those things will basically ask for you to involve, and you get a huge opportunity. Now, why I'm saying all those things? Because what is happening in the globally around the trends and mega trends, that is going to affect you. You have seen India has become the fastest growing economy in the world, right? Because other countries are not able to match the GDP growth of India. Maybe I will explain to you another day how the GDP and about this is, because very, very critical for you to understand where are the trends and mega trades and how you can adapt your passion to move into that and you can reap the benefit of that. Isn't it, student?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, coming to the next slide. So AI researchers have adopted and integrated a wide range of problem-solving techniques, including search and mathematical optimization, formal logics, artificial neural network, and method based on statistics, probability, and economics. AI has drawn upon the computer science, psychology, linguistics, philosophy, and many other fields. The field was founded on the assumptions that human intelligence can be precisely be described, that machine can be made to simulate it. Just to try to understand, actually the human brain is more powerful than one of the biggest library in the world. But problem is that we are not able to process it and provide the result in fraction of a second, which a computer can do it. Now, if we can program the computer to do some of the work, which basically are repetitive and this thing, we can use our brain to do more of an analytical work. So I hope all of you heard of Elon Musk. Hello, student. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So he is now doing an experiment where he want to put a chip into the human brain. Already there are some experiment that is happening that putting chip into the human hand, where you don't have to carry any credit card or anything. So going to create some kind of a cyborg where basically some of the information and knowledge can be much, much faster and bringing it. For example, you don't require to remember the whole mathematical calculation and everything. It is already available in the chip. In a fraction of a second, you can get all the details. Of course, there are some pros and cons. I'm not going to the cons at this moment. You know that more the advance in technology, you need to have proper security, or somebody can crack into that and create a devastation, right? Now, you have seen around the world. So I hope all of you are using Google, isn't it? The search machine, search engine,
Yes.
right? How Google
Yes.
basically help you, basically to provide you, for example, if you say ball, see somebody like soccer, it will come as a somebody like cricket, the cricket, about the cricket, it comes. Somebody like baseball, somebody like volleyball, somebody like basketball. So based on your past history, past search, right? It able to basically have that knowledge, and using the AI, it is able to bring what is you are looking for to your this thing. So what it does, it saves the time for you, isn't it? Yes, student.
Yes, sir.
So can you give me some example of AI? Hello, student. Can you give me some example of AI that you've seen day-to-day
Sir,
life?
chatbots.
Very
Sir,
good.
ChatGPT.
Yes, tell me. So you have like Siri, you have seen Siri, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So you can ask them to basically play a music or ask about the information, they will play for you, because these are all programmed for you, isn't it? Switch on the TV, switch on the lights, isn't it? Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So any other examples?
Self-driving cars.
Pardon?
Self-driving cars.
Yeah, that is Tesla. Yes, absolutely. Those are driven by AI. Absolutely. Very good. Now I move on to the next slide. we will watch some videos about the AI. Okay.
You, you, and you all are fired. And you?
Picture
Okay.
this, a machine that could organize your cupboard just as you like it, or serve every member of the house a customized cup of coffee. Makes your day easier, doesn't it? These are the products of artificial intelligence. But why use the term artificial intelligence? Well, these machines are artificially incorporated with human-like intelligence to perform tasks as we do. This intelligence is built using complex algorithms and mathematical functions. But AI may not be as obvious as in the previous examples. In fact, AI is used in smartphones, cars, social media feeds, video games, bank.
So you can see wherever you have seen the smart, right? Smartphones, smart TVs, the cars. Now, for example, I was in Germany, it was a BMW, where basically if the other car coming, the headlight, if it is on and if it is basically they don't lower it, what will happen? The driver on the other side will basically not able to see anything, right? So they're developing kind of a light where if the car is approaching from the other side, what will happen? It will automatically lower basically the light so that it becomes much more easy for the other driver to drive and have got no problem also. You have seen some of the street lights or smart lights, right? Where basically once you walk in, it basically switches on, and other time it is no light. So that saves the energy. Isn't it, student?
Yes, sir.
Banking, surveillance, and many other aspects of our daily life. The real question is, what does an AI do at its core? Here is a robot we built in our lab, which is now dropped onto a field. In spite of a variation in lighting, landscape, and dimensions of the field, the AI robot must perform as expected. This ability to react appropriately to a new situation is called generalized learning. The robot is now at a crossroad, one that is paved and the other rocky. The robot must determine which path to take based on the circumstances. This portrays the robot's reasoning ability. After a short stroll, the robot now encounters a stream that it cannot swim across. Using the plank provided as an input, the robot is able to cross this stream.
So what the robot does, it has been programmed that it cannot swim. So, but if there is a plank, you can utilize it, put it there, and he can walk over it. Now, you have seen how basically, for example, using the AI, the drones, how it works, right? Or basically the missiles, right? It is basically the target is fixed, then it basically try to avoid the enemy fire by circling or basically doing in an unpredicted path and coming and hitting the target. Similarly, you have seen that basically using the driverless car like Tesla or basically self-driven driverless cars, they go to another one place to another place based on basically what are the other type of vehicles that are coming, whether it's a pedestrian, whether it's a cycle or a car, calculate the speed, and based on that, it basically moves to the streets and reach you from one place to another place. Of course, there are basically some cases that is happening around the world where a self-driven car hit another car, or basically there has been person died from it. So now the law is that where the case need to be filed against the company who has created the car, or basically the owner of that car. So of course, those are the legal court cases that is going around the world, and I hope those will be sorted out. And once those are sorted out, I think there will anyway we are going to see enormous growth of the self-driven car, and also basically using the how basically we can manage the machines or basically the vehicles much better.
So our robot uses the given input and finds the solution for a problem. This is problem solving. These three capabilities make the robot artificially intelligent. In short, AI provides machines with the capability to adapt, reason, and provide solution.
Isn't it, student? Hello, student. Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what AI does, it helps to adapt, reason, and provide solutions, right?
Well, now that we know what AI is, let's have a look at the two broad categories an AI is classified into. Weak AI, also called narrow AI, focuses solely on one task.
Yeah, tell me whether a Siri or basically you have the Google Play, is this a weak AI or it is strong AI? Hello, students. Is it a weak AI or strong AI? Okay, let's go through
For
that.
example, AlphaGo is a maestro of the game Go, but you can't expect it to be even remotely good at chess. This makes AlphaGo a weak AI. You might say Alexa is definitely not a weak AI, since it can perform multiple tasks. Well, that's not really true. When you ask Alexa to play Despacito, it picks up the keywords play and Despacito, and runs a program it is trained to. Alexa cannot respond to a question it isn't trained to answer. For instance, try asking Alexa the status of traffic from work to home. Alexa cannot provide you this information, as she is not trained to. And that brings us to our second category of AI, strong AI. Now, this is much like the robots that only exist in fiction as of now. Ultron from Avengers is an ideal example of a strong AI. That's because it's self-aware and eventually even develops emotions. This makes the AI's response unpredictable. You must be wondering, well, how is artificial intelligence different from machine learning and deep learning? We saw what AI is. Machine learning is a technique.
Yes, students. So what we understand in artificial intelligence, it is generalized learning, reasoning, and problem solving, isn't it? AI has got the adapt and can provide reasoning and provide solutions using AI. And we have understood AI is, we have got weak AI and strong AI. Weak AI is focuses on one task, and strong AI that only exists in fiction. Still research are going on, still we are not able to develop a strong AI. Right? Now we are going to learn about machine learning and deep learning. So machine learning is a subset of AI that focuses on getting machines to make decisions by feeding them data. And what is deep learning? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses the concept of neural networks to solve the complex problems. So AI and machine learning are interconnected fields, right? Machine learning and deep learning helps AI by providing the set of algorithm, right? Any questions?
To achieve AI, and deep learning, in turn, is a subset of machine learning. Machine learning provides a machine with the capability to learn from data and experience through algorithms. Deep learning does this learning through ways inspired by the human brain. This means through deep learning, data and patterns can be better perceived. Ray Kurzweil, a well-known futurist, predicts that by the year 2045, we would have robots as smart as humans. This is called the point of singularity. Well, that's not all. In fact, Elon Musk predicts that the human mind and body will be enhanced by AI implants, which would make us partly cyborgs. So,
Right, students. So what do you understand? So what is your understanding of AI, ML, and deep learning? Any volunteers? Yes, students. So AI, machine learning are interconnected fields, right?
Sir, can you explain it again?
Sorry, can you please repeat? Your voice is breaking. Please tell me. Hello.
Sir, can you explain it again, sir?
Okay. So machine learning and deep learning helps AI by providing a set of algorithms and neural network to solve the data-driven problems. However, AI is not restricted to only machine learning and deep learning. It covers a vast domain of fields, example, natural language processing, object detection, computer vision, robotics, expert systems, and so on. Okay. AI can be structured in 3 stages: artificial narrow intelligence, that is weak AI only does a specific task. Artificial general intelligence, that is strong AI and performs intellectual tasks. And artificial super intelligence, that is basically people are still developing and not yet developed. For example, in finance sector, JP Morgan Chase, the contract manager platform uses AI, machine learning, and image recognition software to analyze legal documents and extract important data point and clauses in a matter of seconds manually. If you want to do it, there were more than 10,000 agreement plus agreement. It would have taken more than 36,000 hours, right? AI was, that is using the AI, artificial intelligence, it was able to do it in a matter of seconds. In case of healthcare, for example, IBM, which is a pioneer that developed the AI software specifically for medicines, more than 230 healthcare organizations worldwide are using this, which is called the IBM Watson technology. In 2016, IBM Watson technology was able to cross-reference 20 million oncology records and correctly diagnose a rare leukemia condition in a patient. So as you can see, using the AI, big data, and this thing, right, we are able to help and develop a lot of beneficial things for human, isn't it? Otherwise, it would have taken huge amount of time. And also, as you know, when humans start working, there is some lethargy, or there can be cases where the errors will be there. But using this, we are going to eliminate the errors also. Any question? Yes, students.
No, sir.
For
No, sir.
example, Google AI, artificial intelligence eye doctor, can examine the rare scans and identify a condition called diabetic retinopathy, which causes blindness, right? In case of social media, like Facebook's AI is used for face verification, where machine learning and deep learning concepts are used to detect the facial features to tag your friends, right? Some of you are using that, isn't it? Now, in the Facebook, or basically if you go to Instagram, right, or Twitter, wherever your friends or this thing is that using the facial recognition, what you're going to do? You're going to find your friend, right, and then tag them, right? And you can see whether your friend has gone into the mountains or has gone to the sea, and with whom they're basically who are their friends. You can all basically try to go and find it out, and you can basically tag yourself into that also. So of course, there are basically both pros and cons. I'm not going into the cons. Maybe next session we will talk about more on those things. But as you can see, we are all using the AI. Now, I know all of you, maybe in mobile, you have basically used basically like a facial recognition or the thumbprint as basically opening your mobile or your laptop. Are you anybody of you using that?
Yes, sir.
Hello, student. Yeah. So
Yes,
this
sir.
is
Yes,
what.
sir.
So this is also an AI, right? Using the facial recognition, your laptop or your mobile will open, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In case of social media, we have talked about, like in Twitter, to filter the hate speech or the terrorist activities. So what they do, they use basically kind of artificial intelligence, right, in speech and communications, by using the machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing to filter out the offensive content, and almost more than 3 million terrorist account has been closed, right, using this in Twitter. So in case of Google, the predictive searches are based on the data that Google collects about you, such as your location, your age, other personal details. By using the AI, the search engine attempts to find out what you might be trying to find out, right? So for example, as I was telling you, you basically, based on your age, based on your credit card history or your debit card history or your purchasing history, they will try to what? They will try to find out what are the things you have been purchasing, and based on that, they will basically provide you the data. Now, I hope all of you are using Amazon, right? Now, in case of Amazon, what you will find, if you search kind of a clothes, it will find, or a shoes, you will find the shoes that of your size or the last which you purchased. Based on that, it will make an analysis and provide you those kind of shoes which you want to buy, or based on your search history, isn't it? Yes, student.
हाँ sir.
Now, in fact, when I was walking to a mall, right, based on my purchasing history, maybe, or this thing, I got basically message, SMS message, that these are the discounts, these are the things, this is my past history based on my purchasing in that mall, the information, and this is the amount of discount I can get. So what it does, it is basically tracking your mobile, tracking from your mobile about yourself, then basically identifying you and tracking from your past history of purchases from your credit card or from that shop or mall. They're trying to provide you the best available discounts that are available to you in that mall, right? So as you can see, just you walk into the mall, you can get all the details that is available, right? So I can talk about another basically kind of a case study. Now, for example, you heard of basically Walmart. I hope all of you heard of Walmart. That is world's largest retail chain. Hello, student. Have you heard of Walmart?
Yes, sir.
Now, I hope you heard of Procter and Gamble, right? Procter and Gamble company. So what happened? The Procter and Gamble company took basically some of the cells in basically all the Walmart shops. Now each this thing. Now, based on using the AI, what they're going to check is that in the the whole the cells is not managed by Walmart now. It is managed by Procter and Gamble by their basically remote place. They're trying to monitor and check whether those cells, how fast those goods are moving, right? And based on that, they're able to ship those products from the central warehouse or the nearby warehouse to that Walmart retail shop. Now, similarly, if they find that in one region, some of the products are not moving, they can ship those, take it out from those cells, replaced by the fast moving products that is happening in that region, and can move to the another region, right? So by doing this, what they're doing, they're optimizing the product cell, they're optimizing the self capacity, because the more basically the sales is basically the product they can provide in those sales are limited, right, in the Walmart shop. So they can optimize the selling potential. Are you with me, students? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, sir.
you can think of another case, like, as you know, the energy cost. I was in Germany. Now in Germany, what happens in the night? Of course, the energy cost is low. In the daytime, the energy cost per electricity, the cost is high. Now, you can have smart machines, washing machines. As you know, it takes hours to run. Now, maybe automatically it checks in the grid in the night which time the charges of the electricity is less, right? Based on that, you just put it in your machine, your clothes, and in the night it will run. And by the morning you wake up, what will happen? All your clothes are absolutely washed at the minimum cost. So what it does is basically it checks when the grid cost or the electricity cost is lower, it will run on its own and provide you the cleaning. Otherwise, and it also saves you some electricity bill. Isn't it? Isn't it smart?
Sir, it is a smart.
Next is that now in the fridge, you have got smart fridge. In the fridge, there are specific shelves. For example, you've got milk, you have got eggs, you have got fruits, you have got vegetables, right? Now, what it does, depending upon the quantity, it checks, right? It automatically then makes a kind of a requisition to the nearby grocery shop. And based on that, by the time you're coming from your office, you will find if the bread is already finished or the egg is not there, automatically it checks, the fridge automatically basically creates an order for you on your behalf and send it to the grocery shop, and they will come and do a home delivery. So the time you're reaching from the office, automatically what happens? All your items is available in your doorsteps, right? Again, you have to just put it into those cells. So isn't it making your life easy? Hello, student.
Yes, sir.
So I hope you have seen with your smartphone, you can switch on your TV, you can switch on your AC, you can switch on your washing machine, isn't it? You can switch off your, maybe the smart fan if you're having the smart fan. Now, what is happening? You have the convergence of technologies using one. So these machines are interconnected to each other, and using the smartphone, you are able to manage all your other machines, right? Isn't it? You can switch on your light when you're coming to your home. You can basically open your garage. Then once you park your car, you can switch on your light just from your basically mobile phone, right? So how this is done? This is all through interconnection, right? And using the IoT, isn't it? Yes, student.
Yes, sir.
So similarly, when you're going out from the house, your office, you can have your alarm system, right? You can switch on your alarm system, and once you come to your home, you can just from your mobile, you can switch off your alarm system. So you can have the security system enablement from your mobile phone itself. So as you can see, the days are going on, and we are becoming more and more smart and using smart appliances, and we are more and more starting depending on these smart appliances, right? So when you feel hungry, right, now you can have Swiggy or Zomato, you're just ordering them using your mobile phone, isn't it? So what it happens, it goes to the nearby restaurant, you go to the restaurant, and then it looks for the person who can deliver to you, just search for it, and that comes to your restaurant, pick the food and come and deliver to your home. Similarly, what you see in Uber is that if you want to go from Rupanidhi College to your home, you book a Uber, and what happens? Uber finds out which is the nearest driver available, then it allocates to you, and then finding through the GPS the shortest route, it will take you to your home, right?
Yes.
So you have got now Rapido, you have got basically other apps also which you can use, right? So you have got Ola, Uber is already there. So you have got multiple choices, and based on that, you can select your own cab, and you can basically check the prices also. Based on that, you can book it, right? Isn't it? So let's watch another video on artificial intelligence before we move on. Okay, now we are going to talk about some of the greatest people you know in the IT sphere and what they're talking about AI. So let's listen to them. Okay.
Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft are all moving ahead at a great speed in improving this artificial intelligence software. So it's very exciting. Software is going to solve that, where it'll look at all the new information and present to you, knowing about your interests, what would be most valuable. So making us more efficient.
We're focusing on what we've talked about on autonomous systems. And we sort of see it as the mother of all AI projects. So autonomy is something that's in.
So how many of you using Apple phone or Apple laptop? Anyone of you using Apple?
Yeah, I'm using
Yes, sir.
Apple.
Yeah, so you have seen that is a difference from maybe Samsung and other, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And Apple is has created a paradigm shift the way we are using the product, isn't it?
Yeah,
With
yes,
that
sir.
innovation.
Incredibly exciting for us. We'll see where it takes us.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if someday we got to the point?
So have you heard of Warren Buffett? Anyone of you heard of Warren Buffett? Who is Warren Buffett? Hello, students. Have you heard of Warren Buffett? He is one of the world's, you can say, the largest investor. In India, we have got Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Of course, he's now expired. His wife, Rekha Jhunjhunwala, is the biggest investor in stock market. So Warren Buffett is one of the richest person in the earth, and is basically has got multiple companies. And Berkshire Hathaway is basically one of his companies, and that has got interest in multiple companies around the world, right? So I think his valuation is in billions of dollars, and he is one of the in the world is known as for his investment capability.
Where there were robots every place, they were running farms, they were running Apple, they were running Berkshire Hathaway, and all you had to do was one person could punch a button at the start of every morning, and all the goods and services that we're getting now would be turned out by robots.
It is seeping into our lives in all sorts of ways that we just don't notice. We're just getting better and better at it, and we're seeing that happen in every aspect of our lives, from medicine to transportation to how electricity is distributed. And it promises to create a vastly more productive and efficient economy. And if properly harnessed, can generate enormous prosperity for people, opportunity for people, can cure diseases that we haven't seen before, can make us safer because it eliminates inherent human error in a lot of work.
Artificial intelligence is going to be extremely helpful, and the risk that it gets super smart, that's way out in the future and probably worth talking about. But now what we're seeing is that for the first time, computers can see as well as humans. That's pretty incredible.
Let's do a study on Tesla's autopilot version.
So I heard all of you know about Elon Musk, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah, he has got an amazing brain, right? I think a lot of like SpaceX, Tesla, PayPal, right? So many of things he has done. He has sold some of the companies also. But the new innovations that he bring in, it's really phenomenal. The new thought process, right? Now what he is thinking and experimenting like cyborgs, putting chips into the human brain and using that. So of course, then using the SpaceX, taking the humans outside the space, right? Using the rocket launches that he has planned. Now, his own telecom company, which provides basically at faster speed, the information from one place to another.
one, which is relatively primitive, and found that it was a 45% reduction in highway accidents. And that's despite Autopilot 1 being just version 1. Version 2, I think, will be at least 2 or 3 times better. That's the current version that's running right now. So the rate of improvement is really dramatic. We have to figure out some way to ensure that the advent of digital superintelligence is one which is symbiotic with humanity.
AI is probably the most important thing humanity has ever worked on.
So I hope all of you heard of Sundar Pichai, right? He currently is the CEO of Google.
Yes,
and
sir.
he's an Indian, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
let's hear what he says.
I think of it as something more profound than electricity or fire. And anytime you work with technology, you need to learn to harness the benefits and while minimizing the downsides. Stepping back, when you think about, a lot of problems in the world, today it's because we typically have a constraint on resources. AI, for the first time, I think, over time, offers a different construct. Things which are constrained and look like a zero-sum game today may not be so in the future. Take education, for example. It's really difficult to educate people in a cost-effective way. AI may fundamentally change that equation. It may make it possible for us to have clean, cheap, renewable energy for the future. So I think a lot of things will play out in more positive ways than people think.
I think probably by end of next year, self-driving will encompass essentially all modes of driving and be at least 100 to 200% safer than a person by the end of next year. I'm talking maybe 18 months from now.
The idea that there's going to be a general AI overlord
So he is basically the head of Amazon, Jeff Bezos.
that subjugates us or kills us all, I think is not something to worry about. I think that is overhyped. First of all, we don't know, we're nowhere close to knowing how to build a general AI, something that could set its own objectives. But second of all, I think it's unlikely that such a thing's first instincts would be to exterminate us. So I'm optimistic about that one, and certainly don't think we need to worry about it today.
Right, student. So are you fascinated by the AI? What AI can bring to you?
Yes,
So now I want you to basically let me know what you understand by AI and how you can see AI can help you. Yes, student, give me an example. Hello, students. Don't feel shy. Give me some examples.
it makes possible for machine to learn from the experience and perform human-like tasks.
Good.
Sir, example of AI is like a traffic camera. It can detect overspeed vehicles, like put challan on that automatically.
Very good. Just think of that. You're living in an era where you have got smart cameras. Now, using the facial recognition, for example, it can identify the culprits and also the terrorist. Now, you can living in a city, right, where it can basically help to identify that. You have seen in USA, for example, there are so many shooting happening around the universities or into the schools, even in the high schools, right? Now, if you can think using the facial recognition, if the cameras can identify the psychological behavior of those students and can provide proper education to those students or to those people, the world can see an avoidance of those fire among the innocent people and they get killed or get injured in those US universities or in the schools, right? In USA, for example, you have seen having the firearms is basically, there is no license that is required. Isn't it, student? Now, if using these cameras, they can identify using the facial recognition, the psychological pattern of those kids, they can basically given proper education, proper basically psychological training, and we can see an avoidance those kind of incident, isn't it? Yes, student.
Yes, of course, sir.
For example, if you go to the airport, right? Airport, you may not know there are hundreds and hundreds of cameras out there. You will find they are monitoring each and every passenger, looking at the postures, looking at this thing. If they find any kind of an alarm, automatically they signal it to the nearest security. And the security start keeping watching on those people. And still, if they find some kind of basically strange activity, they will take those people inside basically and investigate further, right? Because they don't want to make any kind of a disaster. So as you can see, maybe you are not aware, because this is how in the airport, how they will to manage. So there will be hundreds of cameras, right? So I have been involved in multiple airport kind of systems monitoring. In fact, I was in Siemens. Bangalore airport is actually done by Siemens only. So we are aware that there are basically cases where this kind of through the cameras they able to monitor and manage basically with less number of people. You were able to manage the whole kind of basically number of people. There lakhs and lakhs of passengers coming and going, right? So how will you manage them and monitor them? So this is how some of the ways you can do it, right? So as you can see, using AI, they can do much, much better. Now think of basically, if you can spot a terrorist using the facial recognition, then what will happen? It will automatically help you to identify that. And before a disaster happens, automatically that terrorist can be nabbed and he can be put inside the jail. Isn't it? Is that a good thing or not? Yes, students.
It is good, sir.
Now think of the bad part of also. Now using the facial recognition, you have got small drones. Basically, if a terrorist or basically identify a person need to be killed, right? What it will does is that using the small swarm drone, hundreds of drones, it will basically come and directly hit that person and will blast. You have seen the kamikaze drones, right? In the wars. Now, using that, so no people in the earth can be safe, right? So that is basically not good sign of the advancement of technology, right? So one side we are developing the technology for the beneficial of human race. Another side we are creating the technology for the devastation of human race, right? So one need to understand, if you can create the technology which benefits the human race, that is always welcome. But if you create a technology which is basically bring the devastation to the human race, to me, it's not a welcome sign. But still, as you know, this is how the war is happening. You have seen the kamikaze drones that is getting used. First time you have seen that is Azerbaijan and Armenia war, that the Turkey drone was used, right? And it created a havoc into the Armenia, basically army and the defense, right? And Armenia lost the war because of the drone. Similarly, if you've seen regarding the drone war that was happening between the Ukraine and Russia, the Bakhtar drones, that is of Turkey drones, were used. And then basically once Russia found it out, now you don't see any Bakhtar drones that is used by the Ukraine. Of course, the Russia using their own drones, the side drones and other drones, right? And the whole warfare that has got now changed. Using the drones, they're able to attack each other and creating havoc. So it's not humans that is going and fighting. It is basically the machine against machine that is fighting. Isn't it, student?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So now India are going to buy the Predator drones, right? So in fact, 31 of those drones, and you can see the amount of money, it's around $3 billion. India is going to invest to buy only 31 drones. So you can understand the cost of those drones. Of course, India is going to be a major powerhouse in the drones with a lot of startups and innovations is happening among the drones, right? So you can see there is a lot of advancement of technology that is happening. Now think of the drones which you are seeing only for war or basically killing each other or destroying the other part. But think of the drones if that drone can be used for the human benefit. For example, in remote places, if the drone can go and provide the medicines, the food, or bare minimum necessities, the people will be happy. For example, using the drones, you can do the telemedicine, right? So in the remote places, the people can basically talk to the experts, doctors, and this thing, and can get the medicine or the consultation from those doctors. Isn't that going to be a good? Yes. Yes, students.
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, let me share my screen again and let us go again to the slides. So we have seen some videos. So you have understood what is Industry 4.0 and you have understood what is artificial AI, right? Now let's go to some examples of AI. So we have already gone through our examples like Google. We have gone to YouTube. So YouTube also you will find, or Netflix, right? Whichever the kind of videos you are watching based on your past history, based on your taste or this thing, those kind of videos will be coming initially, right? And you can, it becomes, your search becomes much easy, isn't it? Next is that recognition of human speech or your voice. The Siri or Alexa will work based on your voice, right? The self-driving cars like Tesla, that will be, you have got multiple examples of those, and based on those, from one place to another place, you can drive in this driverless cars. Next is automated decision making and competing at the highest level in a strategic game system like chess and Go. Sun, can you give me some more example on the games? I know all of you are playing some games, right? So give me some examples. Yes, student. Using AI, what are the games you're playing? Hello, students. Can you give me some examples?
Sir, can you repeat?
For Minecraft.
Yes. Very good. So some examples of games which uses AI and which you are playing.
Chess.
Yeah, chess is there. Some other games.
Minecraft.
Good. Any other?
Yes, sir. Sir, Ludo King, sir, there are chat, AI bots over there
Yes,
to play.
yes. You are, I think some of you are playing some cards game also, right?
Yes.
Then some fighting games also.
There is some fighting game named Shadow Fight, something like that. But they have AI bots to play.
Yes, isn't it? Where
Yes,
you can
sir.
form some teams also, right? You can go on alone also, right? So as you can see, the whole gaming world, everything has got for change, right? Using the AI. So when we were young, we used to go and play outside. But nowadays, the kids start playing more on mobile and laptop. And in fact, they basically make friends using this, create their teams and groups. So that there is a paradigm shift of the way we used to play in olden days and what the kids nowadays are playing, right? So as you can see, there is always some change. Or next, maybe you're going to play with it using the augmented reality or virtual reality, where you will feel staying from your own room that your friend is basically almost close to you. Next, you think of the training sessions, right? Or the learnings using basically AI, augmented reality. You are going to get basically much better training. So this is basically the Industry 4.0 is bringing it to you. Okay. Any more questions? Can you move on to the next slide? Yes, student.
Yes, sir. Next slide.
So the goals of AI, one is reasoning, problem solving, knowledge representation, planning, that is automated planning and scheduling, learning using the machine learning, natural language processing, read and understand the human language, perception, that is machine perception, use of senses, computer visions, ability to analyze visual inputs, speech recognition, facial recognition, and object recognition, right? So these are some of the goals of AI that we can see in today's world. Can you mention any other things that comes to your mind which is not mentioned here, which we can use for AI? Any other goals of AI you think of? So these are just some examples, some other things, what you can think of. Any other? Okay, so move on to the next one. The social intelligence, recognize, interpret, process, or simulate human feelings, emotion, and mood, right? Next is general intelligence. A machine with general intelligence can solve a wide variety of problems with breadth and versatility similar to human intelligence. So we can see that AI can use as a social intelligence and also as a general intelligence. Any questions? Now, there are three types of artificial intelligence, which I've told you. One is basically artificial intelligence, that is narrow intelligence, ANI, what we call. Artificial general intelligence, that is AGI. And you have got artificial super intelligence, ASI. So what is ANI? ANI is basically using the machine learning, specializes in one area and solve one problem at a time. Example are Siri, Alexa, right? Yes, student.
Yes, sir.
Next is basically AGI. You've got machine intelligence, refers to a computer that is as smart as human across the world, right? Can you give me an example of AGI?
Sir, is robots a part of example?
Sophie, you can say, which has got citizenship in Saudi Arabia, but still it's under development, right? So, and basically they are trying to build the human emotion. Still, it is not
operated vending machine.
So those will be basically undercoming the narrow intelligence because those are programmed and based on that it is working, right? Next is basically comes the artificial super intelligence. Those are still into the movies, right? And an intellectual that is much smarter than the best human brains in the productivity. So if you see those Hollywood movies, right, you will find those kind of things are available, but actually it is do not exist till now. Maybe in future we will going to see it, but not currently at this moment. Right? Let's move on to the next slide. So what is artificial nano intelligence? This artificial intelligence systems are designed to solve one single problem and would be able to execute a single task really well. By definition, they have narrow capabilities like recommending a product for an e-commerce user or predicting a weather. Right? So you have seen, you have Amazon, Flipkart, Mantra. So they will provide you, this is the best discount based on your past history, right? Based on your searches, past searches you have done, they will come back and provide you the hints that these are the things you can go for, and this is the discount. What is artificial general intelligence, AGI? It's defined as AI, which has human level of cognitive function across a wide variety of domains, such as language processing, image processing, computation functional, and reasoning, and so on. Okay? So this is basically an example where you have the general intelligence and age. AGI, where, for example, you can have the kind of a Tesla car, for example, driverless car, where basically using the image processing, sees the image, whether it's a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or a truck, then it basically modifies the speed and also calculate this distance between the next vehicle to it so that there is no accident. What is artificial superintelligence ASI? An artificial superintelligence ASI system would able to surpass all human capabilities. This would include decision making, taking rational decisions, and even includes things like making better art and building emotional relationship. So this is still not there. This is basically what we are looking into the future. Any questions, student? Hello, student, any question?
No, sir.
Examples of weak and strong AI. Weak AI, also called ANI, example computer can be programmed to play chess without needing a mind of its own. Strong AI, such examples are found only in science fictions, right? That is, we are seeing some of the Hollywood movies. Those are the examples, right? So we don't see the strong AI at this moment. So this is still under development, isn't it? But what research is going around the world, so we will see some strong AI robots coming in and in the future. Any questions? So advantages of AI. So what it does reduction in human error, isn't it? Because humans are prone to error. If you start doing the same thing again and again and again and again and again, what will happen? You become lethargic and you will be prone to error, isn't it? Yes, student. Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
And you cannot work 24/7, right? You need some rest. You need to sleep, right? You need to eat. And of course, you need to go and talk to your friends, isn't it? You need to go and watch movies or play games. So, whereas we have got chatbot or robots, they can work 24/7. They don't have that kind of activities they need to do, isn't it? Next is helps in repetitive work. So what happens? We don't like to do the repetitive work, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this repetitive
You can
work,
do.
you can, yeah, let the robots do it, right? But you think of they have the emotions, then what will happen? Robots will come and say, no, I don't want to do this repetitive work. You come and do it, right? That is why we don't have strong AI robots. Understand? When they start taking decision, then we face the problem. So we need to be more intelligent than them, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Good. So next is digital assistance. So digital assistance is, you have learned about the chat box and this thing which will able to help you and provide you the digital assistance. So you don't require any, what it is, discuss, and you can get 24/7 the help, and you can do your work much faster, and which helps you in the faster decision, isn't it? And helps you in rational decision making, because what happens, human has got a emotion attached to it, and whenever emotion attached to it, what happens, if you, for example, your friend asks, you give one kind of an advice, and those whom you do not know are not your friend, or you have got the enmity, then you will not provide him the correct answers, right? You'll try to keep something with you. Then what happens? The other person, when she asks, will not get the proper answer. But in case of robots, it hasn't got like that. So you get always provides a rational decision. Next is improve security and efficient communication. So these are some of the benefits what we see in case of AI, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So any other points you can think of? These are small examples. Any other points? Okay, let's go and see what are the disadvantages. One is cost overruns. To create an AI, you require cost, right? You need funding. And there can be overrun of it. Okay, so next is talent. So basically what happens is that we always require basically resources who are talented to get this thing done. So there is a always dearth of talent, and you are all learning computer science, right, students? So you can see you got enormous scope for in front of you, isn't it? Hello, students. You need to have the passion. And please remember, there is no free lunch in this world. If you work hard, you will achieve your goal. Okay. And lack of practical product and potential for misuse. So one of the potential misuse I told you about the drones with facial recognition and what it can and havoc into the human mankind. Any other questions you're having? Any other disadvantage you think of AI? Hello, students. Hello.
Yes, sir. No question.
Okay. So now I hope you have understood what is Industry 4.0. You have understood what is AI and some of the advantages and disadvantages, isn't it? Hello, students. So anybody want to volunteer and tell if they've got any understanding of what is an advantage and give one example of disadvantage of AI, which I've not shown into the slide?
So for AI, it's very high cost to build an AI.
Yes, it requires basically algorithm logic, right? So you need smart people to do it. And there's a dearth of those people, right? So, and it is also require cost because to have the smart people, you have to pay for them also, isn't it? Yes, good. Next. Anybody want to volunteer? Okay, students, then thank you for today and have a great weekend. And again, we will meet next Saturday at 11. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.